As if there weren't enough reasons to stay inside lately. SCPs are a rowdy bunch, and quite a few of them spend most of their time either escaping containment or coming up with new ways to escape from containment. They don't have time for our human need for law and order, they just want to run free. Or fly free or float free, but you get what I'm trying to say. Some are easier to contain than others, but unfortunately none of the ones we'll discuss today fit that description. Time for some slippery SCPs. Hello horror heads, and welcome back to the scariest channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos. I'm your horror host Keegan Hughes, and today we're going to be looking at the top 5 SCP monsters most likely to escape, part 3. Before we get to our list, we've got a special message from today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. You all know what we're talking about, the biggest, beefiest, and most beautiful turn-based mobile RPG running. All sorts of fun awaits you in the world of Teleria, where you can assemble a powerhouse team packed full of the greatest warriors and wizards of all time. Level your squad up and take on 10 different terrifying bosses as well as other players in online PvP. With more than 400 of the coolest champions to collect and customize, all done up in incredible artwork, you've got a whole world waiting to be discovered. Best of all, it's free to play and available on both mobile and PC. Play anytime, anywhere. It's so easy to get started and succeed, too. I'd recommend logging in every day when you start, as new daily rewards will be waiting. Make sure you finish all your quests and missions, too, as they will provide you with super helpful rewards as well as tips and tricks. Pick a few of your favorite champions and make sure that they're strong enough to take on some early dungeons. You can worry about leveling up additional ones later. And of course, when you're feeling confident, it's always a good idea to test your mettle in the arena, because plenty of awesome rewards are available for moving up the tier ladder. Every 3 days there's exciting tournaments, and you will be able to claim your well-deserved reward. Plus, if you join a clan, there's all sorts of new ways to advance quickly, and these will all open up for you. For more info and advice, subscribe to our special marathon for new players. The link will be in the description. Raid is always receiving exciting updates, and in October, the Artifact Forge was released. Through crafting your own artifacts, you can save lots of time and make your champions super strong. And of course, there were some new champions released this month too. Stay tuned, and soon the Doom Tower will be released. It's super exciting. Go to the video description, click on the special links, and if you're a new player, you'll get 100,000 silver and 1 free champion, Channeler. All that'll be waiting for you right here. Good luck, and I'll see you out there. If you need advice, you're not alone. Subscribe to the guide on the Teleria world and find out the whole truth about Raid Shadow Legends. Link in the description. Now, let's get to our SCP SCPs. Coming in at number 5, we've got SCP-457. Fire has always been hard to contain. Of the 4 elements, it's the one that truly seems to have a mind of its own. It will grow and spread with very little help and can only be stopped if it's caught early or if it runs out of fuel. So of course, a sentient being made of flames would be difficult to contain, especially one that seems to get smarter as it grows. SCP-457 is invisible and undetectable by any known means, but is shaped out by the flames it produces. Sometimes it can be as small as a matchstick flame, but when it grows, it can take on a humanoid form. It only appears to have one goal, and that is find more fuel. This allows it to spread further and further, assimilating more fire into its shape. Weirdly enough, if the flames reach a certain size, 457 will divide into 2 instances. However, they don't get along too well. They will immediately begin to compete for resources, attempting to snuff the other one out in order to hoard all the fuel for themselves. When 457 is relatively small, it appears to act as just a normal fire. It might lick out at a human's hand from time to time, but otherwise it'll burn just the same as a non-anomalous flame. But as it gains fuel and size though, it seems to gain intelligence. 457 has been known to trick and reason with different guards assigned to its containment cell. Through seemingly learned behaviors, it can sabotage and damage sprinkler systems and set up traps. When these setups work, it does its best to escape containment. So like I said, fire is hard enough to contain without having intelligence. Now it spreads like wildfire, but also has some strategies to avoid being snuffed. I wouldn't be surprised if everything caught fire soon enough. It seems to be happening already. Coming in at number 4, we've got SCP-507. Although this SCP is extremely hard to keep track of and keep in one place, I don't see it attempting to escape for good. Most of the times that 507 does escape containment, he doesn't really want to escape containment. Weird, right? Well, let me explain. SCP-507 is also known as the Reluctant Dimension Hopper. He's anomalous in a very particular way. At random intervals, the poor lad is swept away to a different dimension. He has no control over when this happens, where he goes, or for how long he'll stay there, and this has varied results, often causing him a great deal of distress. The Foundation houses the man in the meantime and asks that he report on whatever he sees in other dimensions. Sometimes they'll even give him some equipment tied to his little panic kit he keeps on his person at all times. Flashlights, firearms, emergency supplies, etc. But as much as the Foundation tries to keep him contained, he always ends up accidentally escaping into a parallel universe. Sometimes it's nice enough, a world sort of similar to ours, and other times it's just wonderful. Too wonderful, actually. Like, once he popped back into our reality and was so distraught that he was no longer in a universe full of pleasure that he remained in a near catatonic state of sadness for weeks. Yikes. Then there's the scary dimensions, ones full of cannibalistic wolf people, smiling men with black liquid pouring from their faces, and more. Needless to say, nobody envies this SCP, and nobody can contain him, even if he wants to stay with the Foundation. Coming in at number 3, we've got SCP-939. Now listen to this opening line from the description section of 939's wiki page. SCP-939 are endothermic, pack-based predators which display atrophy of various systems similar to troglodytic organisms. Wicked, right? Essentially big, fleshy, anomalous blood wolves, or something like that. Maybe I'm embellishing a little bit, but these things are just so cool, and so dangerous too. I said they were pack-based predators, right? Well, their favorite way to lure prey in is to imitate human speech in the voices of their victims. Yeah. They can imitate the noises other species make as well, which is equal parts impressive and worrisome. And guess what? These imitations are so good that the Foundation can't use voice recognition security measures in places that 939 might be. So that's one way they could escape, by using other people's voices so well that it tricks the machines. In addition to their masterful mimicry, they also emit an aerosolized amnestic when they breathe. This gaseous compound causes temporary anterograde amnesia, inhibits memory formation for the duration of exposure, give or take 30 minutes, and could even cause mild hallucinations. So get too close and get really confused. To round it all out, you should know that they can kill most prey in a single, powerful bite. Right on the neck. Ouch. So far, the Foundation has been really careful keeping these monsters contained, but it's only a matter of time until one successfully imitates a lead security guard or scientist and causes all sorts of mayhem. Coming in at number 2, we've got SCP-4885. Technically, we can only theorize that this SCP is contained. There's no real guarantee that what has been done to secure 4885 is working. And if you know where it is, it will kill you, plain and simple. So the Foundation spends a lot of their time preventing people from finding out where this anomaly is. It doesn't always work though. 4885 appears to be a real-life Where's Waldo, red striped outfit, toque, glasses and all. And if you spot him, you get a fun surprise. He'll phase into the nearest wall and then appear inside the subject who spotted him. Then he'll reach up through their throat, grab their chin through their mouth, and proceed to pull himself out of their body. Organs are crushed, bones are broken, and the subject invariably dies. Oh no. The corpse then becomes an instance of 4885-1, which means their skin becomes patterned with what appears to be illustrations from the search and find books Waldo originates from. No Waldo anywhere on there though. And finally at number 1, we've got SCP-2521. If you talk about this SCP, it will break containment. If you write about this SCP, it'll break containment. If you put this SCP in containment, it'll break containment. I screwed myself by adding this entry. All for your entertainment. Appreciate it. 2521 will know if you talk, write, or save data about it, and then it'll appear at the location of where any of this transpired and take whatever stores that info with it. This includes people. Nobody knows where it takes the info holders, and to this day, anything and anyone that has been taken by 2521 remains missing. As of right now, it seems that the only way to communicate safely about this SCP is to create pictographs, images, and other similar resources featuring it. For some reason, 2521 doesn't seem to register this kind of information and leaves it well alone. But hey, there's always going to be someone like me that says all this out loud, allowing it to break containment. Whoops. Are you scared yet? Or do you think it's pretty cool that these SCPs can escape? Either way, there's not much folks can do about it. So what'd you think about the list? Did you know about the possibility of these escaping? What SCP do you think is most likely to escape? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your more insidious ones from the top 5 SCP horror theories. Shawnee Man Woodford says it's crazy how many SCPs there are, almost seems endless. Just as our imaginations are seemingly endless, so too are SCPs. Big shoutouts to anyone who's ever posted something on the wiki. Michael Rutherford says, my SCP theory, Keegan Hughes is a Keter class entity capable of causing an XK class end of world scenario. Can confirm, good luck. Mason Lobster says every SCP theory is valid since the wiki allows for anyone to make an interpretation of any canon, new or old. If there's no single unifying canon, literally anything is possible. That's partly why this is my favorite fictional universe. That is exactly what makes the SCP wiki so endlessly interesting. Anything is possible, and you've got to put the pieces together. And Son Goku says, hi, how's y'all's day so far? Pretty good, I just made some lunch. Anyone listening right now should comment what they had for lunch in the comments right now. And that's all the time we have for today. Before I bite down on a Tootsie Pop instead of counting the licks, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more screeching and screaming. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.